I have one question for her before you get started.
So, like, what did I remove the buttons? Media assets. Let's play it anyway. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the New Era Paranormal podcast with JD Curry and Irina Killowies. Our guest today is Blue Bodhi. Can you tell us how you got started in the field and all your path has been?
Oh, I mean, do we have a long time? Like,
we have 3 hours. We're okay.
oh, sweet, all right. Then. I kind of was raised doing this stuff. I grew up outside of Colorado, so my first real haunted place that I remember going was actually the Stanley. But we spent a lot of time in Eureka Springs at the Crescent Hotel and things like that. So I grew up with parents that loved the paranormal and were really into, the craziness, the hippie stuff, all of that good jazz. So they never said no to anything we wanted to learn about. And that never stopped. That never stopped. So my dad's about to turn 75 and still doesn't say no. I was like, Dad, I bought a haunted church. He was like, sweet. When do we get to go up there? So
that's awesome.
My parents are completely different.
Yeah, I have a completely different background.
I tell everybody that my parents were like middle class hippies. Like that's kind of what they were, as middle class hippies. So yeah, I can't complain about the way I grew up. Going to crazy haunted places and spending time up in the mountains and finding ghost towns that hadn't been in a long time and things like that. And yeah, I can't complain.
Oh, that's awesome. So when you were young, not older, when you were young, what was your most favorite place to visit?
My most favorite place, it's still kind of one of my favorite places now.
Okay.
And that's the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs. Mm-hmm. I've almost every single time I have stayed there. I've had experiences from the time, we stayed when I was little. We had a cabin maybe 30 minutes from there. So even if we didn't stay, we'd go eat lunch and walk around town and stuff. And so it's got that place in my heart from when I was little. And then it's still one of my favorite places to run away to now because it's only a few hours away. So yeah.
That's awesome.
You'll have to get down there. The place has a really sordid history. Is really, really cool. There's an old morgue in the basement. You can stay in a part that used to be the asylum. You can actually stay in there now. So it needs to be on your list to go,
Okay.
Irene.
That sounds good. You throw asylum in there, I'm there. Well,
I mean, I
don't know, but when somebody says asylum, I'm drawn to go and experience it.
It's a really, really wicked cool old place. I love it.
Oh,
and they have a nice spa. They have really good masseuses. I'm just, just throwing that like hot tub on a nice mountain, a hotel, and a massage. Bet.
That's perfect.
Go.
I actually just had a conversation earlier with Danica about massages and how I wanted massages. So that's it. I'm there.
Another favorite place in Arkansas as well. There's a place outside of Hot Springs, right in Hot Springs, excuse me, called the Arlington. It used to be a favorite of Al Capone. And that I've had some wicked experiences at that place, like full body apparition kind of wicked experiences. And you can go and down in the bottom of the hotel and still get a full service bath in the hot springs water and all of that. That is a cool place. That is a cool place.
That's crazy.
I love Irene's like, Really?
Figure out like what. I've never been. I'm like, I know I have to figure out etiquette going down into the hot springs. How I'm going to go down there. What do you do? You wear a bathrobe? Do you wear a bathing suit? You
go down there and they do the full, like they give you the fluffy robes to put on. And you can wear your bathing suit. You cannot wear your bathing suit. You know, like, I mean, no judgment, but yeah, that water is hot as hell too. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
They wrap you up in the towel like a little kid afterwards. It's great. It's great.
I need that. That sounds great.
So yeah.
Good for your joint health.
It's good to make you feel like a blob of jelly afterwards, and then you just kind of like ooze back to your room, and then go eat about 2 hours later when you can get off the bed.
It's better than feeling like plywood, which is what I feel with on a regular. That's why I was talking about massages earlier. So blob, plywood, I picked blob.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, they're going on the list. JD.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's a place in Hot Springs that do what?
Said Colorado is out there. It's pretty remote out of all the places we go.
I know.
Well,
right?
that's in Arkansas. The Stanley is the one that's in Colorado. There's a lot of haunted places in Arkansas. There's also a lot of crystal digs there too, where you can go and actually dig your own quartz and phantom quartz and all kinds of craziness. But
that makes sense.
Hot Springs, there's it now is closed, but it's an old VA hospital, and I know that like it's almost impossible to be able to get in there to go investigate. But that's on my list. I'm gonna try. That's on my list because
awesome.
It's crazy. So yeah.
So when you go and investigate, who do you normally investigate with? On your own, with a group?
No, usually it's just me and my poor best friend Sass, who you met in Gettysburg. This poor girl, like, I love her to pieces. She's scared shitless of so much, but she's had so much fun at the same time. Like, I took her to Hot Springs, and I shelled out some money to stay in the Capone suite, which was his personal suite when he was there. In the closet, there is a ladder and a tunnel that goes down 3 floors and underneath and
just
over to his speakeasy. And it has a corner window where you're looking out over the whole thing. And we went downstairs. We were going to go eat, and we were coming out of the room. And next thing I know, she's shoving me down this little hallway. It's weird. It's a 3-room suite. And I don't know why she's shoving me, and I'm getting mad. And I realize the door's open. And you know how there's some hotel rooms and they have the doors that go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
She's like, "Did you open that door?" And I'm like, "I didn't touch it," right? So we go eat, we come back. I shut the door. We go eat, we come back, and we hear ladies in the other room. I mean, like bachelorette style, loud kind of ladies. And I'm like, son of a... Like, we're going to try to do an investigation here tonight, and they're loud, right? So I go downstairs, and I ask, I'm like, hey, is there anybody in the room next to us? I'm trying to be nice and not be like Bodhi Karen, I'm like, because like, it's kind of loud. The lady's like, she's like, oh, no, there's nobody in there. And I got this huge grin, and Sass is like, She goes, And I told the girl at the desk, I was like, oh, there are ladies in there. And she looks and she goes, oh, you're in the Capone suite. She's like, that's where their ladies used to stay, was in that room. We had activity in that room all night. But yeah, she was like, I'm not going back in that room. But she did. And she had so much fun.
Awesome.
But yeah. They don't like to tell you that it's haunted, but
yeah. It's sad. Like some places they won't, but yeah, it scares people. They're afraid it's going to scare too many people away. And that's kind of sad. Like, because that's a big draw for people as well.
Yes.
And why not? And then it's better to know what you're walking into than to know that you're going to be, somebody's going to wake you up in the middle of the night and pull you out of bed, I'd rather
Yeah.
know in advance than be shocked by.
We were, I had gone through there another time, and I didn't stay at the Arlington. I stayed at another little hotel down the road, which used to be doctor's offices, which is just equally as cool. We're sitting down having dinner, and this lady, because the restaurant's right across from the desk, she comes in and she's freaked out, like she's crying. She's like all her bags. She looks like someone just dumped her on the sidewalk, right? And she gets a hotel room, and she's telling the lady at the desk, she's like, I will never go back to the Arlington. She was like, there was a man in my room. I mean, and it's like 9:30 at night, and she is legitimately, she's like, I walked all the way down here. I don't even want to get my car tonight. I will never, like, I mean, I was like, give me like, I'll go talk to the man, you know. But yeah, I like that stuff. I know some people don't, you know.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I'd rather know than not know.
Definitely. Okay, so I want to ask you now. We're talking about all these places that are your favorite to investigate or to spend time in, but I want to hear about your location, the Reliquary at St. John's. So can you talk a little bit about well, first, what made you decide to buy this gigantic building? And I know your dad was behind you on it, right, in full support, but like, what made you decide to, make this big leap from, investigating, doing your normal, which we'll talk about later, your normal work that you do, and then doing this?
So buying a haunted location wasn't really on my radar. I came up to Philadelphia a couple years ago to film a TV show, and no one told me. I've never been up that way, right? No one told me how beautiful Pennsylvania was. I'm a little mad at y'all for not telling me that. I just want you guys to know. So I kind of fell in love with Pennsylvania because between, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Colorado, that's a lot of mountains and trees and plains. And I felt like it was like the best of all of that, like in one place. So I was looking at like bed and breakfast or places that were maybe smaller hotels or motels or something like that were, basically ready. And I was really cranky, and I was sitting in a bubble bath. And I mean, it was so weird the way it happened. I'm sitting in a bubble bath. I'm talking to my friend's ass, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to go look at this place and blah, 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 blah. And I'm scrolling on Zillow, and the church comes across my thing. And I was like, and I went, and I sat there, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy a church. And she goes, what? And I said, I want to go look at this place. I don't know what it was about this place, but I had to go look at it. And even drove all the way up there to go to a convention that it cost me a lot of money to go. I went to I stepped out of the car. I was like, oh, this is my place. Like, this is my place. I got instantly protective. It's right at 12,000 square feet. It has a full cathedral, only 3 surviving stained glass windows. All the others were, I guess, sold off. But it has a cathedral floor, so it's a sloped floor, so it's really spooky off the bat because it throws you off. There's 2 full living quarters. Someone was renovating it. And then there's the basement. And the basement is, I have been in some very creepy places in my life, and I won't go down there after dark by myself. Like, I won't. Nope. I don't care if it's burning down. I go down there. I don't care. But I do own a graveyard as well. There are 355 graves out in the back, and a lot of them were moved. The building, the location itself is over 200 years old. There's been 2 buildings there previously, and the building there now was built in 1920. And so there are a lot of graves in German. There's a German cornerstone of the church plus an English cornerstone. There are a lot of Civil War veterans. There are a lot of Spanish, I want to say it's French and Indian War veterans. Like there's a lot of people buried out there, a lot of children. And the minute we walked in, we hadn't been in 5 minutes and had something flung off the wall. There was only women. There were 5 of us that went to look at the place, and we were videoing the whole time so I could look at it when I got back to Oklahoma. And our mutual friend, Shauna, she starts sending me these clips. She was like, you need to hear this. We're in the basement. We're walking through. And I made a joke about women not being allowed in the boiler room back there. And a man goes, yep, behind us. There's no man with us. Going up the creepy stairs by the men's bathroom. I was like, haha. I was like, the men got to go to the bathroom down in hell. And you hear a guy chuckle and he goes, haha, yeah. And I was like, I'm buying it. It's mine. It's mine. It's
It
mine.
knew exactly how to draw you in, give you some paranormal activity, and it was yours.
Oh, I did the witchy shit. I pulled my hair out. I was like, this is my place. I left my hair there on purpose. I was like, my place. And yeah. And I mean, but I got really, really protective over it as soon as we walked up, because the previous owners, they built this really pretty deck out on the backyard, out on the back wall, whatever. And they put the walkway over graves, over a couple of children's graves. There's one of the headstones that had been knocked over, and they were using it as a stepping stone into a building. And I got mad. Like, I don't know anybody buried there, but I instantly got mad. And I'm like, why am I so protective of this place? And yep. So it's mine.
Ooh,
It's mine.
it's good that it's yours.
So is the basement split up, or is it just wide open?
No, it's like two U shapes put together. So it's really disorienting. And the floor, remember how I said the floor slopes? So one side, the floor is even, and the other side, the ceiling will slope like this. So you have one normal ceiling and then one part that goes like that. And I think that that's what it is. It's like a fun house effect down there. So you get very disoriented. So
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And
it was empty for so long. It was empty for so long that we get a lot of people get touched. Almost every group that we've had go in, every time I'm there, and it's not anything bad. It's more like somebody going like, wanting to see if you're real. We get a lot of this, like kids tugging on you. We get a lot of that, but it does kind of scare the crap out of you, even though you can. I tell people, I'm like, expect it. Still scares the crap out of you, but it's really, really cool when it happens.
Yeah. Well, that's what we think, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm over here grinning like it's gonna go, so.
Well, and you could definitely, it's crazy how you can tell the difference usually when somebody tugs you that you think is an adult, and when somebody tugs you and it's like it's a kid, you can tell the difference on how your clothes get pulled. So like, yeah. I just find that fascinating. Or maybe it's because like knowing, like, having that knowing as a medium, but like for me, I can tell the difference if a kid is pulling me, or if like I'm like, or an adult is pulling me. You have that same feeling? I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And even people that, did you shiver up there, JT? Because like you just
yeah, my shiver.
Almost everybody that's gone in there that's had the kid tug, I guess, I don't know what else to call it. They know it's a kid too. Like people that don't even have abilities. Like I don't know. But yeah, it's weird how you just know. Like it's a kid.
They pull you in just the right way. Like where only a kid will pull at you. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really interesting stuff, a lot of stuff that's been caught on camera. I mean, it's just, we get a lot of really, really interactive. Sometimes they really love the mag lights, turning the mag lights off and on. The strip lights, the rope, they love that. We've had, so the floor is sloped. We'll put a ball at the top. We've had the ball get knocked down and roll down several times. Like, it's super interactive, and there are so many people there. The first night we stayed there, like when I signed the papers, I was like, oh my God, we're staying at haunted church tonight. Like I was so excited about it. Right. And one of the first things that we asked, I was like, how many people are in here? And then we got 70. And I'm like, oh, I didn't bring that much food, but we'll figure it out. Like, okay. And, we do have one, I'm going to say kid. I know some of you guys are like, wait, I'm that age. He passed away at the beginning of the Civil War. He's a Civil War veteran. He's buried right outside the edge of the church, a private bloomer. he a lot of interaction with him, a lot, to the point that when I get there, he's one of the first ones I say hi to. And when I leave, I'm like, hey, I was like, Private, will you please keep an eye on my place? You know, his parents are buried out there. They have the biggest spire in the back. And
Wow.
but even people, I try not to tell people, and he interacts with them as well. So it's really amazing how much the activity is picked up. So
that's pretty cool. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to come and investigate there, and then what people need to do to sign up or reserve time to investigate there?
Yeah. So right now there's no heat. Just let you know, you're gonna freeze all of your butt off. There's electricity and things like that, but that oil heat y'all have up there is a whole big messy thing. But coming up to visit, it's a lot. It's a lot. Make sure you bring a lot of extra batteries. Even though there's electricity, they drain the daylights out of everything. We just had a team in there this weekend, Saturday, that I was watching, and they had their grid. I think the batteries went out twice in their grid while they were there. So they drain the crap out of things. There's, like I said, a lot of touching, a lot, just mainly like, are you real? Like they kind of poke at you, a lot of tugging, a lot of things walking up behind you. That's the one I don't like. You know, I'm like, dude, don't do that. A lot of interaction, a lot of seeing actual full people out of the corner of your eye. There's a lady that we see all the time. I'm not going to give you guys a crazy amount of information about her, but there's a lady we see all the time. There's also a man that we see upstairs all the time, and there's bats. So if you go, please don't mess with the batty bats, because I love the bats, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Is there plumbing?
Place.
Are there bathrooms?
There is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome. That's important.
Yeah, we've got it winterized right now, but yeah.
Do you have areas where people can sleep, or that like
Yes.
designated areas?
When you first go in, there's a full kitchen. There's two rooms. One's like a bedroom and a bedroom. I don't know how to explain it. And then there's a smaller room. But there's plenty of places. We end up with like 3 queen size air mattresses in one room, and then 2 in the other. Like there's plenty of room. And you know, sinks, refrigerators, all that stuff, stove, like all the things. But some of the other parts of the church, the cathedral doesn't really have electricity. We have one plug-in in there that works. Downstairs has electricity, so you can flip the lights on if you know, you're like, and I'm done. I don't want to be down here anymore.
As long as you don't turn them off while you're down there.
Oh, I am that person that turns them off, and I hold the flashlight and back toward it. I hate admitting that, but like it really, I don't like it. I don't like knowing somebody's coming up behind you, you know, this, and it's not just the feeling, it's the footsteps. Like you can feel the reverb on the floor. Like,
yeah. I don't like
the only thing that I do ask is, just because there are a lot of Amish farms right there around. We just don't want people out super late in the cemetery, in the graveyard, you know, after dark, being loud or whatever. But and what's really funny too, we've noticed that there's a kid right up by the church, and he's really active. His grave, 9:00. No, he will not interact. It's so funny. You can interact with him all day. Things will go off all day. 9:00, he's in bed. We've even tried to bribe. We're like, man, we'll tell your mom it's okay. Nope. That cemetery usually after about 10:30, 11 o'clock, nothing. It's the weirdest thing. But to book, there is the website, and I'll get it to you, but it's the Reliquary at stjohns.com. I'm in the middle of updating some dates, because we've got a lot of teams going in throughout the end of the year and stuff like that. So I'm in the process of updating all of that, but I would love to see everybody catch goodies there. So it makes me happy that we've had a lot of teams reach out and say, when can I go back? Like, when can I go back? So
I'm excited to come there when we head out that way. I'm excited for it. So
I know I can't wait. Yeah. I'm trying not to tell you a lot, because I want to know. I'm
sure more will come. Yeah. I'm sure more will show up when I get there.
I can't wait, Irene. You're gonna love it.
I'm looking for every time I see the building when I see a picture of it, like if I go online and like, or there's a post or something, every time I see the building, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait. Because you could just tell. Like you just tell from the space that it's definitely an active location. Like you could just see it. And I understand completely why when you were going through Zillow, or it was, I think you said Zillow, right? That you stopped and you were like, yeah, that I gotta go to that place. So yeah, I can totally see it.
And I explained to my kid too, because my kid was like, well, there's only a few people buried outside. There's a cemetery across the street too. I mean, I don't own that. It's still county, city, owned or whatever. But I mean, if you think about it, that's a church. So a lot of people had funerals there. A lot of people had weddings there. It was a Lutheran church. So, they may have been their family associated with it and things. So it's not just the people that are buried outside. It's, hundreds and probably thousands of other people that have gone through there that was a safe haven for them. It was, their place of worship. So that's a lot.
Especially when you're an immigrant, like at least from my understanding from the way I grew up, when you're like immigrants would come and their central location was the church. And that's where they would get their support. That's where they would make friends. That's what would help them find jobs and help them find a place to live. They would all congregate there or knew to go there to help them. So it makes a lot of sense, like that. It's a central part of the community. So it's almost like its own, energy highway, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they would been practicing in a ritual type of way, even though it's not ritual like witchcraft, but still ritual as in a group of people practicing in the same way to commune with spirit.
Yep.
Yeah.
We play a lot of hymns in there in the cathedral. I brought my speaker. I bring like a pretty good, speaker and let it just echo throughout there. And we get stuff that goes off everywhere. I speak like this much German. Like I know how to say hello, good night. Do you need help? Like that. That's about how much I know. I also a few cuss words, but we're not going to say that. But we'll ask things in German and we'll get German responses, things like that. So if you guys speak German and you go, they respond. So it's interesting.
Google Translate.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. That reminds me though, I had a German friend years ago who taught me one line, and I don't know why it was this line. I cannot remember, but it was, if I could say it, I think I'm saying it correctly. Mach schnell um die Ecke. And like, it's still in my brain. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, but I can remember that. And it translates hurry up around the corner. I don't know why that is what I was taught or how we managed to get to that point. But I cannot forget that phrase. It's still there. And if that's not the right phrase, and he told me it was hurry up around the corner, please, anybody that is watching, help me understand what the actual translation is. Or I can use Google Translate.
We go use it because we have a guy that likes to peek around the corner. So I mean, there you go. That's why you needed to remember. Yeah, I know how to ask if you need help, and that's about it.
That's awesome. That's the
I
most
can't help you, but I know how to ask if you need help. Can't translate anything else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Have you ever seen that show Ghosts on CBS? So they go into this. She inherits this home, and she ends up developing a medium ability, and so she can see them. And basically, they tell her, put the TV on this channel, turn the page of the book, so I can finish reading the book. So that's gonna be you pretty soon. That's how you're gonna end up helping. You're gonna put the TV on for them.
I mean, I'll go in and play. I'll play hymns on Sundays. Whatever we need to do. And there are some days I'm like, what kind of incense do we want today, guys? I'll let y'all pick. And yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm super surprised you watched that.
I know it's funny. Hey, it's funny. I enjoy it.
It's
not accurate at all, but I love it.
I don't watch a lot of those. There was a movie Michael J. Fox a long time ago, and I don't remember the name of it, but it's where he could see the numbers on their forehead and he'd know like when they were about to pass away. Like that one was really interesting to me because it was pretty close, you know, like parts, but I'm like, okay, I see you over there.
You gotta look
But
that up.
I won't watch a lot of those because I understand everybody's different. Like my ability is different than your ability, which is different from like Patty Negri's ability, you know. But still, like sometimes I'm like, really no, really no, you know. So yeah, you know, your voice just gets higher and higher, you know. So yeah,
Or
gonna
like
drive me nuts what that movie is because it's a really good movie.
Or like Shauna from Das House likes to make fun of me because my response is always interesting. Interesting.
Mine's always the small aftermark. So I think her and Larissa were griping one day about haunted places and bringing stuff back with you. And I was on some pain medicine, to be fair, because I have TMJ really bad and I was having a really bad flare up. And so I'm sitting with like a heat pack on my face. And I'm like, you chose this life, ho. And they just ran with it. So those are my responses.
Well, hey, this is a great segue for so you are considered an aura and energy expert and you have a huge following on TikTok. What is it now? Like, I don't know, 6 million? It's like 6
Girl, I wish it was 6 million.
But you have a really large following, like 600 and something thousand? Like you have almost nearly 700,000 followers. And so when you go on, I mean, you do make an impact. And what I love, like a lot of the things that you'll bring on is that you'll talk about protection. You'll talk about, I mean, you'll talk about anything. And let me just like, first kudos to your support of the LGBTQ plus community. Like that for me, you know, that's bold and strong and we appreciate that support. But at the same time, like you talk about protection, you talk about energy, healing, you talk about what else? Preparing yourself for entering locations. You talk about what oh gosh, I'm forgetting now too. Like you talk about a lot of different things. But protection was one of them. And if you can kind of, and then you also help people with investigations too. Like when you help, like if they're having experiences, then you'll go in and see if you can help in the space and clear the space and do what you can. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what you think are the important aspects of protection or some suggestions for people that might be watching that like they feel will help them?
Yeah. Well, first, I didn't grow up understanding why people hated other people for any reason like that. So, and we lost a friend of my family in Colorado Springs in the shooting. And ever since then, I've kind of been like, no, fuck you guys. Like, if you can't get on board with being cool to everybody, then we can't be friends. And like, if you ain't bothering anybody else, like who gives a crap? You know, you want to marry your ghost dude in your house? Cool. I don't care. You know, just, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't raised like that, you know? So that's a given. But, I have a couple of forms of synesthesia. And so, I help people with the location itself. I was taught when I was young and I even asked my dad, like, where did he learn this? Did he learn it from his mom or, you know, how, whatever. But I mean, I learned to knock on, not on the door, but on the frame before you enter a place, just to kind of announce your presence. I learned to wipe my feet before you go in and then before you go out, especially for the last time. Like, I don't want something following me. It stays here. And I knock when I go to leave as well. Like, just kind of like you knock on tarot cards, you know, like leaving that there. But one of the forms of synesthesia I have is that when I touch things, it's a color. And I realized a couple of years ago, because you don't really pay attention, you know, when it's something you do all the time. Like you know, you have dark hair. You don't pay attention that you have dark hair until somebody says, hey, your hair's like this really gorgeous shade. It's almost like blue black, you know, and then you're like, oh my God, it is. And then you're in the sunshine. You don't really realize that. So somebody had asked me like, so do haunted locations have different colors? And I was like, they do. And so I started really paying attention, and I can go up and put my hand on the outside of a location, just like I would, shake somebody's hand, but I'm going to see a different color, even though when I touch something that's like wood, it's always a shade of blue. But yet if it's a haunted location, I've been at some that are orange or green, like weird colors. I'm like, oh, okay. So that tells me immediately what the energy of the location is, not anything inside yet, but just the building itself, because the building ends up being an entity all its own. It has its own spirit, etc. And so helping with that, I did this for Shauna. I've done it for the Reliquary and a few other places. I did it for a couple buildings out at Crescent Sanatorium and things, where I gave a color, because day and night is different. The energy during the day is different than at night. So that way it kind of helps people know what they're going to expect from the building itself. But when it comes to paranormal safety, when it comes to spiritual safety and witchy safety, whatever you want to call it, one of the first things I tell people is like, you're in charge, man. You're in charge. If something follows you home, it's because you kind of invited it. I see that a lot, where people, well, nothing's following me home, but then they take something from the location. Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? But I also am I'm a big artist, so I do a lot of glyphs and wards and sigils and so on. And so every piece of my equipment has something on it. My books, my boxes, all of that stuff has, things on it, so nothing gets stuck in there. I don't want some weird little goblin guy follow me home, but it doesn't mean it still doesn't happen. So I help people with that as well. There's a lovely gentleman in the church who is a trickster. His name is, we just call him Jerry. I call him Jerry. He won't tell me his name. So I was like, what's for anybody watching named Jerry? Let me just say that, okay, I am a huge Rick and Morty fan, and like the most chicken name I could think of was Jerry, because there's an episode where Jerry's just crawling on the floor through the alien wars. So he wouldn't tell me his name. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call you Jerry. So it's stuck. And so it's Jerry. But I mean, he follows me home sometimes, and I have to be not nice and get him to leave and go back to the church. But I think that's one of the biggest things I was taught as a kid in going into places was protection, and how to protect you and your personal sovereignty when you go in. I do a lot of work with like Solomonic magic, which is all about protecting you from, malevolent entities in some really gnarly places. Like, I'm really glad that I went into West Virginia State and didn't come out with anything, like things like that. So yeah, did that answer your question?
So, I mean, it gives people an idea, because it is protection is the other thing that I kept forgetting was you do like Reiki healings over lives and things like that too. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to throw that, because that's the other thing that I forgot. But people don't really recognize like the protection that you need when you walk into a space. You can't just go in there. I think people, they think it's just like, some people just think it's a game. They think it's just something to go and, that like what we see, in the spirits, and we're communicating, that they're not really real. Like, they don't have thoughts or emotions or experiences or anything like that. I know a residual haunt is different, but like they'll walk out of a space thinking, nothing, I'm untouchable, and like that arrogance. Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody walked into my space with that, and I was a spirit with that arrogant level, I would probably follow them home and teach them a lesson. Yeah. So like, but that's the thing, is like that level of respect and knowing there are many things out there we don't understand in this whole other world, like in this whole other realm, or however you want to call it, dimension. And that, it's better to protect. Why not protect yourself? Even if you might not, even though I believe you need to believe you're protecting yourself too, but even if you fully don't trust that it's going to protect you, you should do something to bring you that protection, or go in with a respect Like respect also is a protection.
It
And
is.
then
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And that's one thing that I tell people, you know, whether it's paranormal investigation or witchy stuff or anything. I mean, it's just like if I were to come up to, you know, Joe and Joe's face over here and be super rude, like Joe's going to get mad and be rude back. You know, the same thing goes, that was a person, you know, it's still a person technically, just you can't see them. But how would you feel? Like I tell people, remember that was their space long before you got there, and it will be their space long after you leave. And so technically you're going into their house, their church, their building, their home, whatever it is. And, you know, you need to be respectful. In my opinion, I don't care to watch the shows where people are, you know, full on egging things on and being mean and hateful. And, you know, so years later when they're like, oh, I got an attachment here, I'm like, yeah.
You just yeah. I'm not surprised. It's like
so for the auras, is there always a set meaning for each color, or does it change?
There's usually a set meaning. I have chromesthesia as well, so everything that I hear is a color as well. And I studied color theory extensively, like throughout my life, because I wanted to know, like, well, what is that person? Why is that person's voice purple, but that person's voice is blue? Like, what does that tell me? And then different shades of the blue or whatever. So it's always the same meaning. And what's really interesting is the way that we look at color meanings with spiritual stuff and everything is the exact same way that it's looked at with marketing and with like psychological stuff. So the reason that Pepsi is blue and Coke is, you know, red and stuff, those same colors mean the same thing in auras. And but they can change like all the time. So, you know, maybe I go and I read, you know, Irene's aura, and the day I meet her, she's like super happy and upbeat, and her aura is super bright and big. And then, you know, a couple years later, I meet her, and maybe she just lost her furry baby, you know, and so it's little bitty tiny, and maybe she also doesn't feel good, and so those do change. Voice colors usually don't very much, unless
not even when someone's angry versus happy.
Do what?
So, like when somebody's angry versus happy, it doesn't change.
Oh no.
Oh, it does. Okay.
What changes? Yeah. No, it'll change. Depending on your mood and like how open you are in that moment will depend how big your aura is versus how small it is. So I can kind of tell when somebody's shut off or when they're not, versus, you know, to see how wide. Well, nobody's ever like that, but I mean, you know, like how far out your aura goes and so on. So yeah. So I read people in a different way. When I touch somebody, like I said, if I were to shake your hand, it's a color. And if I do an aura drawing for you, I'll sit and hold your hand for a minute, and that color suddenly becomes like layers, and that's usually what I draw. I'll draw the shape and I'll draw the color. And somebody out there who does art supplies, I need like 900 different shades in oil pastels, please. I can only find like
there you go.
is the most I can find.
That was going to be a follow-up question, whether you see multiple colors at one time. And
Yep. If I touch, like if I just were to shake your hand, that's just usually one color. But so I have to sit and hold someone's hand for about a minute, and really then I start to see all of these things. So, and I'm sure that one other question you're going to ask is has there been anybody I don't want to draw? And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple people at conventions and things like that. I've drawn a lot of celebrities and so on. And there are a couple that will not shake my hand. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
When I see you, I'm like, hi, like hugging you. It doesn't even cross my mind. Oh well.
There
are all good colors.
There are some days when it's overwhelming. Like when I met you at Gettysburg, like that's a lot of people. That's a lot of constantly having colors barrage in your face. And So I'm usually not the person that spends a lot of time with everybody after. I need to go to the room and I need it to be quiet. Like I need to decompress and I need everybody to shut up. You know, like I need everybody to be quiet. And so it gets to be a lot. It gets to be overwhelming a lot.
I can't imagine, like, for me, it's just spirit and energy, but like having all of that, but then having all the color constantly. Like I can see a little bit, but definitely not to that extent. So I can't imagine like, that on top of it. You go and you take whatever break you need.
And
if
I mean,
if
there
you need
are a
to
lot of
sit at your
times
table
that,
like this, she's resting. I will do that for you.
You're gonna come be my bodyguard.
Yeah.
The bouncer at the door.
Yeah. Danica and I can take turns.
I mean, I have never been any place, convention wise or anything like that where people got mad when I was like, hey, I gotta have a timeout. Like I gotta walk away. Everybody's been really awesome about it. And everybody knows what bifocals are. You've at least put on grandma or grandpa's pair of bifocals, and then like saw the weird thing down there. That's how I see these colors. Like the majority of the time I'm physically seeing them in my vision, and I'm used to it because it's been like that for 40 years almost. So it doesn't bother me, but when it's too much, it's too bright, or there's a lot of really loud, sharp noises, like something coming at your face all the time, like that eventually you don't want to do it anymore. And so after a while, it can be too much. Like I can't go to live concerts in big places anymore. I actually get physically sick, and it makes me really mad. It makes me really mad. I had to leave Stevie Nicks in New Orleans before halftime. That kind of mad.
Oh no!
I know everybody out there was like, "Oh, yeah, I know."
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. That's crazy.
So yeah.
Do you have any physical? So I know you have to rest. You need quiet, but do you get things like migraines or other than the nausea? Like, do you get? Yeah.
Yeah. I had meningitis, and I consider myself really lucky that I just have crossed wires in the brain and migraines and epilepsy. I mean, it could be way worse, So, but yeah, the migraines get to be horrendous. So, how about you? I'm curious because I know a lot of I see you over there. Almost every single person that has like really intense abilities has migraines.
Yep, I get them. I get them pretty regularly. I mean, not like every day, but yeah, it's pretty consistent. I manage them, so they're pretty good. I do things sometimes are worse than others. And it's kind of funny too. Like even if I'm going to go to a space, I'm fine all day long, right? And then the second I'm about to eat, I can even jump on like a podcast with someone or we're going to an investigation or something, and suddenly I'll start to feel it. It's like a migraine's coming, but like I'll know if it's going to back off or come back, so like there's things like that. And so I try to do whatever I can to manage that, but it's crazy how it'll show up when nothing that would ever trigger it. And then that's when I know, it's going to be something else other than, some other type of like physical migraine. So, but yeah, it's definitely.
I have a theory there that I just thought of.
Oh yeah.
What if it's the energy, the electricity that's coming to you, and that's how it's interacting with you?
Yeah.
The brain is not made to have other outside interference like that.
Yep. I find if I keep my and of course, especially right now, like life is really hard to keep at a balance, right? With things that are going on in your personal life. But if I can keep my life at a steady thing, at a steady steady pace, and not have a lot of like craziness, ups and downs, like surprises, a lot of stress, it can be managed a lot more. And I don't have that because my body's rested. My body is more balanced. It's more grounded. But the moment you have everything else, it makes a lot of sense. Yes. So that's why, that's why we I don't have any words for it. That's why we have the things that we have.
Mhm.
But you know, at this point, after the experiences, after all this time with really, you know, putting myself out there now in the world and doing readings, I don't think I would change it. You know, would you?
No.
Yeah.
If you had told me, you know, when I was 18, 19, working in a publishing company, all I wanted to be was a writer, that, you know, man, when you're in your 40s, you're going to be like this crazy witchy spiritual lady and go to all these haunted places. I'd have been like, that sounds great. Like, that sounds great. You know, but I would have been like, you know, check this guy out over here. Mhm. I would have not believed you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it.
You know, for me, like just even the one or two people that like, it's just this is just something we bear. Like, this is what we have to deal with to do what we do.
And I
You know,
think you'll
readings.
understand this. Oh, do what? I didn't mean to
Can
interrupt you.
aura readings be done remotely?
Mhm.
Or is it
Yeah.
limited?
I can do them via photo. Like if people just send a photo, I can do them like talking like this. I love doing them in person more, but they wear me out faster because I'm physically touching that person, you know, physically sitting in their space, my space, etc. So I like doing them like this better, but yeah, I like getting on and seeing somebody and talking to them for a minute and doing them that way. Yeah.
Probably also more accurate, like other types of readings, right? Being in
Mhm.
person.
Yeah. Yeah. I like them in person. I mean, I don't mind doing them with the photo, but I do always ask, like, I want somebody to make sure it's okay. You know, like I'm never gonna read somebody else in a photo. Like I've had a lot of people, hey, if I send you this, can you read this person in this photo?
Yeah.
Me specifically, unless they write and say you have my explicit permission to. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do it? Yeah. Am I going to? No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. So I tell
No.
people, I'm like, think about it. Like if it would be okay if I just read your kid through a photo or your sister or your mom, like that immediately gets creepy, right? So I'm like, if it's not okay for someone to do that to you that you don't know about, or your mom or your dad or your kid or your sibling, like then it's not okay for you to ask for somebody else to do that. Like that gets really creepy really quickly, you know?
Yeah. That's a great way to put it too, because yeah, if it were you, would you want that? And you know, immediately changes a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't find that even, you know, like I have to ask permission. Like sometimes I'll pick things up with people and I still won't share. And usually, you know, like I have to be yelled at or pushed really hard, and then even then I ask.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't like without reading people without their permission at all. So, and going into spaces too, that's kind of a tricky situation because you're going in to read a space, but you have to first make sure when you go in, you're going in like with that again, that respect again, but you're going in somehow in your own way, asking if it's okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting too. I'll have and I'm curious your opinion on this. Do you feel like people on the other side gossip just like we gossip over here?
Totally. Totally. Like if they're in communication with each other, yes, I totally do.
I mean, gossip is a better word, but, you know.
Yeah. I've even heard it on EVPs where you hear like a spirit say, "Don't talk to them." No, like, and they'll go back and forth. So, like, I think that's yes, I agree. What do you believe the same thing? I do.
Yeah, I think because of the interesting type of work I do with the buildings themselves and you know things like that. I've had Shauna, you know, and other people like text me like, can I call you? And if it's late at night, I'm like, yeah, because where are you? You know, we just got your name on the spirit box twice. We just got like they're asking to talk to you. And I'm like, bitch, I'm in bed. Like it's 11 o'clock. It's midnight, you know. But then I'm like, but where are you? What, you know, and then I'm like, where are
you? Can't resist
what do they want? You know, but I think that's interesting. And I don't know I don't know what to make of that. But at the same time, I'm like, what are you bitches saying about us over there? Like, what are you saying? What, like, say it to my face, you know? So yeah. But it's been interesting. I've been invited to some places, you know, where I'm booked to go, and a week or two before, like the person either that owns the place or runs it or whatever is like, we've got your name 3 times. They know you're coming. Like things like it's the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing.
It is, and it amazes me. But that's the same thing as like we're taught when we're trained, you know, that spirit makes sure that the person ends up in the spot that they're supposed to end up to get the reading they're supposed to get from the medium that will deliver it to them in the way that they need to hear it. Like we're trained that way. So why can't spirits in general know that we're coming to a location? So that they're totally communicating with each other. And like, because it's that large, it's not just like what we see, but there's that large collective consciousness, right? So how can it not happen?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I usually enter a place and I'm like, I heard y'all were asking for me. Like, I heard you were talking about me. Like, so I think that would be fun because it freaks people out. I've had it freak a couple people out. They're like, I don't know, you know, why they know you're coming, but they're asking. And I'm like, I mean, maybe I astral traveled and we had a party. I don't know, you know, and
you never know.
I wonder if astral whiskey is any better than regular whiskey. I'll bet it is.
It's definitely better.
You know it is.
It has to be.
That's whiskey from the Orion Nebula that'll blow your mind, man. I'm just saying. I'll come get you next time I astral travel. Irene will be great. Right. Go on a whiskey star hopping binge. It'll be fun.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Sorry, JJ. You can come too. Sorry.
I missed that entire story.
I just love that. Okay.
Oh man. Okay, so are you? I can't remember. Are you a Reiki master too?
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually hold master teacher, or grandmaster, because some of them now have grandmaster, whatever, in 11 different forms, including my own.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's so I know
yeah. Well, I know like from like when we did Creep It Real that you were up on the balcony level. And you were doing Reiki to the whole crowd. And like, for me, you know, I really felt like the energy coming, you know, in our direction. And so, and I turned to Danica and I go, I like her. She's cool. So like, that's because of that, because you have but it's coming from a good place. Like you can see it, you know, your heart is good. And so I really I respect that. And when I see it, I appreciate it. But now, do you ever do Reiki for people in person? Can people like find you for Reiki sessions? What are the different types that you see people? Do you see people for all the different types you're trained with? Do you blend them all together? Like what's your style and how do you work that?
So the only time I do them in person is at a convention. So and usually I have it out beforehand. And if you're going to get a spot, you better get a spot. But I do them virtually as well. But the type of Reiki I do, I started blending everything together. I started learning in 2012 and I got my first certifications in 2013 and kind of just never stopped. But my form, I do a free session every Monday and Thursday. It's 8:30 Central, so 9:30 Eastern time. But I've kept that same schedule in April will be 6 years. Those 2 nights. I mean, I might miss every now and then because I'm in the bed, but I've tried to keep that schedule just to give people something to look forward to. You know, when their week's really crappy. But I do a full session for free. You know, and yes, I do private appointments and so on. But I blend a lot of different types of Reiki, and then I also blend frequencies. So I play specific music behind it. I have a lot of people that have the neurospeci brains that follow, because I am the blonde lady on TikTok with the bracelets. Everybody makes fun of that. That's me, yours truly. But I also blend a lot of mudras, which is specific ways you hold your hands to channel energy. And then my entire back from the top of my neck to my waist is nothing but tattoos for energy work and things like that. So I've spent a lot of time cultivating different things. And I blend all of that together. I also, when I'm helping people and I'm doing Reiki sessions, I found out a long time ago that somebody mentioned to me about being an energy well one time. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then I started paying attention to clients I was working on physically. And there are some people that their body naturally produces more energy than they can ever utilize. And it usually comes out in the form of an intense spiritual gift like that. And usually it's healing, because they give all of that energy to heal somebody else. And so in learning Reiki and doing it, for me, it doesn't wear me out. It actually energizes me, because I think that is getting all of that excess energy somewhere else. Like, let me give it to you instead of me just keeping it in here as energetic backup or whatever. But I can tell pretty quickly if somebody, like if I'm in front of somebody working on them, I will get overheated. If I'm working on another energy well, I will get overheated. And so, but being able to do it that many times a week, it's almost like building up a tolerance, that now I'm like, oh, usually by Wednesday, I'm like, I got to work on my dogs, or, like I start to get kind of antsy on Thursday. And then on Sunday, I'm like, is it Monday yet? I'm like rocking back and forth. Like, is it Monday yet? But, it's building up a tolerance. So I've been doing it for so long that doing it for a massive crowd of people now is not, it's nothing. If that makes sense. It's nothing.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, at least it makes sense to me. I
figured it probably would, because I mean, the more you use a mediumship ability, the stronger it gets, and the more you see and smell, and so yeah.
But it is, and like there's a level of confidence too. You're confident in yourself and your ability and what you do. And so yes, you have like that like that energy, but you have to have that confidence, that belief that, that you're sending it out into the world. And that, like, I feel like you have that, that same, a bit like that confidence and that belief, that strong belief to do it. And that matters. If you don't believe in what you're doing, then, it's not going to be the same. So it's trust.
I would 100%
that's out there. Yeah. And it's still things like I learn every day. Trust us. Okay, I'll trust you. I'm going in to do a reading. No, are you sure about that? I don't know if I should say that or not. You have to truly believe. And when you walk into a space, you have that confidence. And even if you don't think you do, you exude it at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fake it till you make it's a thing, man. I mean, because there are a lot of times. I mean, and I'd be lying if I said that every single time, I got on camera, I was in the best of mood, or I was having the greatest day, or and there are a lot of. I've learned that if something happens, let's say that I have an appointment booked for 2:00, right, and something has happened repeatedly with my computer or, Zoom, or, all these things just keep happening. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm not supposed to root for this person, or I will tell people too, there's been days when, because I have epilepsy, it's fixing to start storming here. So I already know that tomorrow's going to be a shitty brain day. It just is. And so will it make my readings more entertaining tomorrow night when I read the Zodiacs? Yes, it will. So you should watch. But does it mean that I should do appointments tomorrow? No, I already know. No. Can I channel like this? Yes, but it may not. It may be stuff, and you'll understand this. And anybody watching that has mediumship abilities will understand this. Sometimes you're privy to information that you can't give.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's just, I don't know. I've learned to trust my gut. And if it's a Reiki session, say I've got a Reiki session I'm supposed to do at 2:00 and I've got a migraine, or I'm having a lot of like short circuit brain stuff going on, I don't want to give that energy. I don't want to pass that on, to somebody else. So, I hate to reschedule people. I really do, but I've learned like I can't do it.
That's something that's hard in a people might not understand. Like if you have to move them, if you have to reschedule them, they don't, like if they want the best experience and the best connection, this type of work affects the body. And so it's actually an important point to bring up. We don't really talk about very much, so it's, if it's something that's rescheduled, it's not because you don't care about the client that's coming to sit, but the fact that you care about the client enough to want to give them a reading that they deserve, that'll truly bring that healing that you intend to bring to them.
Exactly.
So,
I've tried to talk about it a lot more just because I don't think people understand. And I mean, I tell people too, I'm like, you have a 9-to-5 job, you go to work, you work for a company, you get sick days. Like I don't get sick days. So if I feel really bad or have a nasty migraine, where you might just call in and be like, hey, I've got a terrible migraine, I gotta stay home. Like I can't do that. So I may have to move you. And I'll tell people too, it'd be just like if you went to go get a glass of water from the sink and that water came out brown, like, are you going to drink that water? Like, I mean, if you are, I hope you have a good doctor. Like I ain't drinking that water, but it's same thing, like,
yeah.
Even though I don't feel great, I still might be able to put out the cool, clear water, but chances are it might not be. So yeah. And I don't think people understand that. So I try to talk about it a little bit more. And I mean, also you don't want people to think that, I don't know, maybe I grew up like this, but you don't want people to think that you're weak, so you're like, no, I can do this.
Oh yeah. That's
you're like in the floor, you can't, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. And you don't want to let people down.
Yeah. That's the big thing. You don't want to let them down. And yeah, I get that. And yes, I understand that whole, no, I got to show up. I have to show up no matter what. I have to be at work. I have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What sign are you? What zodiac sign are you?
Oh no, I'm a Leo.
Oh, okay. That's why I like you. I've gifted the world 2 Leos. Both my kids are Leos.
Ah, okay. That's why I like you. See that?
I always say that because every Leo is like, yeah, you did. I know how you guys are.
It's true.
But and the other thing I think people don't understand either, especially with mediumship, and you'll understand this. There's nothing like being able to actually connect with someone and seeing the look on someone's face that's across from you when they realize that, oh my God, my dad still is here. Oh, that's my grandma, or someone that was a vital part of their existence. Yeah. And you're like, one of my girls, Scarly, her uncle had passed away and they were looking for some of his recipes. He was a cook and they hadn't been able to find them. And I'm reading for her one night and I'm like, dude, they're in a box in the garage. And the whole time I'm like, oh God, please let them be in a box in the garage. I'm like, please, please, please. And I'm describing this box and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be so crazy if this is not true. But the sound of her voice and the look on her face when she was telling me the next day that that's exactly where those were, there's nothing like that, like being able to provide that to somebody.
That's awesome.
And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, that feeling of seeing them across from you. And you don't want to take that away from somebody either, even though you feel like crap, you want to gift them that experience too. And so yeah, there's days, I'm sure you do this too, where you push too far.
Yeah.
You push too far.
Definitely. And that takes us back to the statement we talked about earlier, where you wouldn't change it. You would still take everything that comes with it because of that alone. So I think that's a great spot to, unless JD has something he wants to to ask
Yeah.
before we
Sounds good. We covered a lot behind the scenes of your guys' careers and all that you do. So,
And again, you want to mention about what they need to do to visit the Reliquary and reach out to you?
Yeah. So you can visit the Reliquary at St. John's, just all one word.com. And my website is thebluebodhi.com. You can book appointments, book classes, etc. And then every Monday and Thursday at 8:30 Central Time, have to make sure that on TikTok and YouTube, I do a live Reiki session, a full Reiki session. And on Monday after the Reiki, I give you a cheat sheet of how your week's going to go. I read for all the zodiacs for free. So you can know what stones you need to get, who to stay away from, if you just need to stay home and hermit, I got you.
It's awesome.
I got you.
okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I totally forgot to say that this was a pre-recorded episode of the podcast. So when it releases in person, we're not going to be, well, maybe me and Irene will be in the lobby, but not active on the podcast. Good. Good night,
Thank you for having
everyone.
me on. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for joining us. Have a good night.